Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Manga Man here, and today we're talking about Black Clover chapter 282, The Black Guardian, or the Dark Guardian, or the Dark Knight Wing. He's Batman basically. So, as always, this is based on Scanalation review, so do take everything with a pinch of salt, and as always, please support the official release. This is a second video that I should have done yesterday, but as those that have watched my One Piece video, I did explain that due to timing it will have to be done on a Saturday morning, and then solo leveling will follow in the evening to allow Black Clover's time to shine. That being said, let's go into this review. So, the chapter 282. It kind of felt like the chapter went really fast, which normally can mean, that it's a really good chapter, or we're having less panels. Either way, because it was a relatively simple chapter with a few things to discuss, it's going to be a relatively simple and short video, hopefully, if I don't yatter. That being said, let's get into it. So, we did see in the last couple of chapters that Zennon was essentially boasting to Yuno, saying, with all these powerful wizards here, who's going to protect Clover Kingdom? And the response is given by Yuno today, and he's like, unfortunately, he's there. Now, I know a lot of people can interpret that so many different ways, but ultimately the reason why it's mentioned literally in the same chapter with Asta doing bits is it's just to tie that up. Because for people that casually read this, that don't necessarily kind of read between the lines and this sort of thing, this is intended for a younger audience. So people like me, who's not necessarily a teenager anymore, we'll see the parallels and the way the lines are drawn, but some of the younger audience might not. So essentially this is to make it really easy, but that's what it means. I mean, it could have been pointing towards the Wizard King, but not really. It's Asta. So moving on to that then. So Asta's there. He unites with his lovely demon Ribe or Libe. And we get to an interesting point. The interesting point is they can only maintain this for 5 minutes. This is hella important, and it's hella good for two particular reasons. More than two, but we'll start with two. Number one, this makes it a challenge. This limits the OP and hacksness of the ability just yet, and means there's potential for growth and development down the line. So that means the story is going to carry on for an extended period of time till he fully masters it. And when he fully masters it, he's basically going to be Wizard King level. The second thing, it basically, from a storytelling point of view or a narrative, it essentially allows the author to have a level of trouble for Asta, even with this hacks ability, because he's got a 5-minute limit. It's kind of, being able to go Super Saiyan, but only for a limited period of time, and if your enemy survives, it's going to cause you trouble. And that's kind of what that says. You got to think, bear in mind, previously, he wasn't even able to go into this form. When he did, he was so effective that even Nacht got shocked. But now he's able to do 5 minutes, so he has developed quite quickly in a short period of time, and I imagine this will continue forward. It does also remind me of Naruto and Kurama, as one of the first times, I think the first time they unite against Tobi or Obito, they're able to maintain it for 5 minutes, and then it extends from there. So I'd imagine with proficiency it'll become more deadlier, but yeah, I like the fact that they've had that limiting factor. The next thing to kind of point out is that with the Wizard King kind of essentially watching on, even he tries analysing and saying, yes, it might be like basic in terms of it being a brute attack, but even he can't block it because it's the hard counter to everything. So it's a reminder to the audience that Asta might not be the most skilled dude in the world, but his ability is essentially a hard counter to every single other person's ability. Of course, the person with more skill will be able to evade it for so long, but when you're in within a certain space, there's going to be a danger. Imagine if Asta could just activate like a mana zone, anti-mana zone, and it goes across a kingdom. Everybody within that kingdom would have no magic that they could use because it will get deactivated. For how long, I don't know, but just as interesting, depending on how long Asta can keep it up. The next piece I think I want to talk about really is about the difference between those that have experienced something with Asta and those that haven't. So you see the villagers panic. When I say villagers, I mean townspeople, the people from different parts of the country of Clover, of the kingdom of Clover, and they see this big demon, and they see the devil Asta, and basically they automatically assume, because they have no experience with him, that he's basically there to destroy them. But then we get that contrast immediately by people that have people from Hajj village, you know, Gauch's sister, and those type of people that essentially say no, he's here to protect, even though they might not be next to each other. It's just good to see contrasting opinions. You see that again even with the royals, because Kirch of Midian's like, you know, it might not be the way I do it, but it's still beautiful. And then you got, you know, Silver's siblings Nebra and Solid, who are like, oh, I can't believe we're getting help from this guy. So even amongst the higher ups, Kirch has had some experience with him, the siblings not as much. There's kind of a different opinion of him in the royal capital, or between the royals. We then kind of see Saul, we get to see Klaus, and they're kind of cheering him on in their own ways, and they're really pushing for him to do that, no different than the Wizard King. And then we see that Asta basically slashes through the giant ancient demon in half. This ultimately basically puts him on captain level at least, although with the limit of 5 minutes he's not necessarily Mela Leona level. That being said, we're going to see how this develops, and it could be something that we see expedited. I also like the fact that Asta basically looks at Damnatio, I believe that's his name, the counselor who has the weighing scales, and says, watch me, as in watch him protect the country. And it is a kind of a vindication and exoneration in a way, for him to use his ability to protect the country, with the whole country seeing. So a beautiful sight to see. And the way it ends is nice as well, because we effectively see Sir Nacht's demon basically about to cry, saying if we don't hurry up, Sir Nacht is going to die, basically, without saying it, I guess, because we just saw a panel like a couple of chapters ago where he basically says to the person he was in union with, please, you know, come die with me. And that's all we see of them. We don't see any more than that. So ultimately, the fact that this demon's like, come on, we need to go, and then Asta's like, yes, we need to go, means that we're going to find out what's going to happen very soon. I don't want him to die, because he's Black Bulls, he's a vice captain, he is a person that helped Asta on his way, and imagine it's only going to carry on that way if he stays alive. The fact that Yuno's still kicking about as well means we will get some type of kind of information around that, how he matches up against 100%, and this will ultimately tell us where he is in the packing order, because he is very powerful, he is vice captain, but is he really captain level? We're going to wait to see. The reason why that's important is because essentially the goalpost for captain has moved on. The captains are getting stronger, so for you to be considered a captain, you need to be as strong as them, not as strong as they were. But that's a debate for another day. And that's how the chapter ends. So as always, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please continue watching my videos, and please continue reading Black Clover. I will see you in the next one. Peace.